Welcome back to PGSN and the first ever Utah boys volleyball game being hosted by your Pleasant Grove Vikings here in Valhalla. Pleasant Grove will take on the Mountain View Bruins. We welcome you to a brand new season and a new stream. I'm Alan Judson here with Zane Grothy, and we will have a couple volleyball games coming to you guys throughout the season. Today is the first of anywhere from 3 to 5. We'll let you guys know when we plan on doing those, but today is the first ever between any teams in the state of Utah. Tonight we have Pleasant Grove and the Mountain View Bruins. Volleyball is kind of it's a much more unknown sport around Utah. Obviously this is the first year that this sport has been sanctioned, and that's caused a little bit of, excitement. And there's a lot of excitement in the air here. A lot of different news programs coming around documenting this piece of history, if you will, in high school sports, and really just a brand new experience for all of us, and a brand new experience here for you, Zane, with your first ever commentating time.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys will get to hear a lot. Ooh, as that ball goes in the crowd. Hopefully you guys will get to hear a lot of Zane throughout the years. Just a young, teeny freshman, as kind of got the best of both worlds here today, the senior with the freshman, and then kind of a brand new thing. So you're kind of being born, I guess, just like this volleyball team is being born today. A team filled with names that you might recognize if you followed Pleasant Grove sports throughout our coverage this season, and full of names that you probably would have never heard if, we didn't get the opportunity to have volleyball as a sanctioned sport. So one guy that you may know, number 30, he wore number 1 on the basketball team, number 30, Ethan Hilliard, the senior, 6'5" senior, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and I think he'll be starting today for this volleyball team. The team for Pleasant Grove, this varsity roster from top to bottom: Weston Johansson, excuse me if I say something wrong because I probably will, Aki Tituamia Maliatoa, Tyson Jarvis, Tyson Thomas, David Quinones, Mahanrai Sanchez, Rob Boyce, Caleb Sinte, Jackson Fink, Ethan Hilliard, Adam Jenkins, Braden Thomas, and finally Kennedy Lee. This is a team that I think have a really great spread from top to bottom of, freshmen all the way to seniors. They have two freshmen, I believe, on the team, Tyson Thomas and Jackson Fink, and then a couple sophomores, couple juniors, couple seniors. So very well-rounded roster, and a team that has the ability to compete this season, but also has the ability to grow going into next season. On the other side, the Mountain View Bruins, the visiting team tonight, coming up from a little south, not too bad, not too bad of a drive. We are about 10 minutes away from the initial serve here in this one. And just a large amount of excitement here in this arena for the first boys volleyball game. Mountain View is coached by John Fairbanks, and Pleasant Grove is coached by Dave Neely. Both teams coaching in their first ever volleyball game at the high school level, as you could probably guess, because this is the first one ever. But less than 10 minutes to go as we await for the initial serve. We'll step away. in terms of where these teams will kind of go throughout the season, regions are not exactly the same as you may see for football season and for basketball season when it comes to these volleyball teams, because not every school has a volleyball team. But for Pleasant Grove, their region will stay the exact same. You'll see American Fork, Lehigh, Lone Peak, Skyridge, and Westlake. But the scheduling is very similar to the way that you'll see it for basketball season, where Pleasant Grove will face each team once at home, once away, and kind of in a rotation setting. So Westlake, Skyridge, Lone Peak, American Fork, Lehigh, and then Skyridge, Lone Peak, Westlake, American Fork, Lehigh, once at home, once away. The schedule kind of goes into about the middle of May. So the playoffs for volleyball will be around the same time as the playoffs for baseball. Speaking of baseball, the next time I believe we will see you on PGSN is in 11 days on Friday, March 15th for opening day for the Vikings baseball season, as that's another brand new year to start out a very, very promising young Vikings team when it comes to the baseball side. Whereas for Mountain View, the teams that they will kind of see, they're a 4A team, so 4A Region 8. They will see Orem, Payson, Provo, and Timpanogos. Kind of the same deal. Provo, Orem, Payson, Timpanogos, each facing them each twice and facing them once at home, once at away. The different thing for volleyball is the times that these games are played. Pleasant Grove has a very consistent, what is listed as 6:30, but what I think maybe 5:30, at 5 o'clock going throughout the season, whereas Mountain View is kind of all throughout. They have games at noon, 4:30, 6:30, 7. So very different times, but you know, a lot of the things you'll see with other sports in Utah are things that you'll see with volleyball here in Utah, and that's going to be something that you find consistent for kind of how the schedule works and how these teams see each other throughout the year. So with 2:45 until we start the volleyball era in Utah, as the Mountain View Bruins take on the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Pleasant Grove still kind of got basketball stuff up around the arena here, but it's going to quickly change into a volleyball arena very, very quickly. So just to go over a little bit kind of how volleyball works for those that may not know, because to be honest, I don't know. I don't know a ton. You know, there's very basics you can kind of go over, and you can say bump, set, spike. You know, each team gets 3 hits, and you know, that's the very, very basics, and that's kind of all you need to know here for this first game, but we will learn together kind of strategies and what we'll see these teams do. It's going to be a lot of fun here, seeing everything that these teams kind of go through for the first time. There are going to be a lot of things that, you know, people have never seen before that, you know, they're going to see for the first time here. So we thank you for joining us one more time, and with 1:37 to go, we will, like I said, just go over the rules a little bit. So it's a 5-set match, so it's best 3 out of 5, as you can see on your screen. That number on the far left in the black box is telling you how many matches each team has won, and then in those white boxes, it's showing you each separate match, so each score of each separate match. So once one match is over, once the first match is over, for instance, you'll only see that first number will stay the exact same for both teams, and we'll move on to the second column. And then, as I talked about a little earlier, you can go through the basics, and you can kind of say bump, set, spike. That's a little bit of, you know, the stuff that you'll see in 4th grade and kind of how people teach, and that's the basics, just like you'll see in basketball, like free throw, three-pointer, and layup. That's the free throw, three-pointer, and layup of volleyball. 6 players are allowed on the floor at all times. It's usually set up so there's 3 in the front, 3 in the back. I believe there are some teams who will run similar to like a 3-1-2, where they have 3 in the front, kind of a middleman, and then 2 in the back. It's a little different, but that's the general lineup you'll see. Points are made on every serve for the winning team of the rally. That's rally point scoring. Players may not hit the ball twice in succession, so once you hit the ball, you have to back off and let someone else hit it. But a block is not considered a hit. So if you go up and you block a spike, you're allowed to hit it right after that. The ball must be played off the net during a volley and on a serve. The ball may be played off the net, excuse me. A ball hitting a boundary is in. So if it hits the line, it's in. Whereas in other sports, you'll see if it hits the line, it's out. And a ball is out if it hits an antenna. That's the kind of red and white candy cane things that you might not be able to see sticking up from the net. But if the ball is out if it hits that. The floor completely outside the court. Any of the net or cables outside of the antenna. The referee stand or the pole or the ceiling above a non-playable area. So if it hits the ceiling above the court, you're all good to keep playing that. But if it hits the ceiling above out of bounds, that's a no-go. It's legal to hit the ball with any part of your body, so you can kick it. It is illegal to catch, hold, or throw the ball. And that's when you'll see kind of different ref rulings. A player cannot block or attack a serve from on or inside the 10-foot line. And that's one of the things that you know, it's going to take a little bit for us to completely understand kind of each separate thing. But matches are made up of sets. As I talked about, you have a five-set game here at the high school level. So the teams are, Pleasant Grove's warming up now. They just put 3 more minutes on the clock. As a couple more things. So these are violations, and this will result in a point for the opponent. So stepping on or across the service line when serving while making contact with the ball. Failure to serve the ball over the net successfully. Ball handling errors and contacting the ball illegally. So those are the things we talked about, like double touching, catching it, touching the net with any part of the player's body while the ball is in play, even if it's incidental. Blocking a ball coming from the opponent's court and contacting the ball when reaching over the net if your opponent has not used 3 contacts and has a player there to make a play on the ball. So that's kind of, I feel like that's more of a safety thing, so you're not going to spike the ball right into a guy's face when he kind of has the right of way, if you will. Crossing the court center line with any part of your body besides a hand or foot. It's only considered a violation if the entire hand or entire foot crosses the center line. That's just the half-court line. It's kind of been outlined a little more. You guys can't really see it because it's blocked by the net, but it's not the usual line we see for basketball. It's a little more defined. Serving out of rotation or out of order. So the person in the back right at their respective perspective is the server. And so it's kind of the way that baseball players have to hit in an exact order. Volleyball players have to serve in an exact order. So even if it's a pinch, whoever's up is up, even if you can't put up your best guy. The back row player deflecting a ball coming from the opponent, when at the moment of contact, the back row player is near the net and has a part of their body above the top of the net. This is an illegal block. So back row players are not allowed to block. Pleasant Grove kind of has something we don't really see them do. Sorry, I keep changing the subject, but Pleasant Grove has something we never really see them do. They have their big inflatable screen set up in the bleachers. And I'm sure there will be some hype video or not memorial, but kind of dedication to, the fact that this is, the first game that you'll ever watch. As there's Ethan Hilliard practicing his sets. And finally, a back row player attacking ball inside the front zone when at the moment of contact the ball is completely above the net. And that's kind of, those are kind of your simple rules, even if some of them seemed anything but Zane, you got anything to say about, the game that we're starting in about 15 seconds?
It'll be an exciting game, definitely first ever game. But like Alan said, it will be a learning curve for all of us, especially because we don't know a lot of the rules. But it'll definitely be an exciting game. And
yeah.
We'll play.
One of the more highly anticipated games that, we've broadcast really all season. There's, you have your big rivalry games, and then you have, kind of a game that's making history by being played. And that's kind of the pattern we've seen so far throughout this season. So this volleyball team for both Pleasant Grove and Mountain View ready to kick off not just their respective seasons, but also the sport of boys volleyball in the state of Utah. For those, one last thing, the lines are the dark gray lines. So you'll see a ton of lines on this court for Pleasant Grove. Those dark gray lines, the one you see just to the right of the free throw line, those ones are going to be the lines that are out of bounds. And so if you see something that is kind of on those light gray lines, we're looking at the darker gray lines. So that is all that we have for now. These teams, even though it looks like they may kind of just be wrecking kind of cannonballs playing Battleship against each other, they're getting ready to have the singing of the national anthem in 70 seconds or so. Boys volleyball, Pleasant Grove, Mountain View, getting ready to tip off the season and the game here on PGSN. We'll step away for both a little break as well as the national anthem before we begin our broadcast.
Try not to have people recruit and go across boundaries. It's been rough. There have been teams that have had to find gym time at an elementary school on time. Kevin here was able to negotiate for our Orem and PG and some other schools to be able to use some of the local high schools and some of the other schools. And so Kevin has done more than anybody that I know, especially here in Utah County, for this day to happen. And I just wanted to recognize him today and tell him thanks, and we all should be grateful for what he did for the foundation of Orem. And now we're going to hear from Coach Dave Neely. Thank you everyone for coming. This is an awesome day. It's an exciting day for our sport. It's an exciting day for the young men in the state of Utah. It's an exciting day for our volleyball community. We're super excited. To the players on both teams, I have reached out to some amazing individuals in our sport and asked them to send you messages that we're going to show you right now. So, Steve Vale, who you guys recognize, is the voice of volleyball here in the state of Utah. You see him every Friday and Saturday night on TV. Steve, where are you? Okay. He's going to introduce to you some of these individuals that have sent in messages to you. So, players, you can line up somewhere where you can see the screen. We'll get back to that. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so thank you for your patience.
He asked me to tell a joke, and I don't think the jokes that were floating around my head are probably going to be crowd-worthy. So, we'll hang tight for a second while we're waiting. Hopefully not too long. I will say, the lineup that we have of these videos, pretty impressive. Are you ready? Okay, so this is John Sprout. He's going to be the first person that's going to speak to you. John Sprout has won 9 national championships. A couple that you see here right now is UCLA. They won last year, and they might be favored to win it again this year. BYU, you would watch BYU win volleyball? It's pretty fun. I'm super blessed that they let me do that. They were here a week or so ago, and every time we have a match, we have a call with the coach, and we just talk and kind of figure out, hey, how's your team? What are you guys doing? What are your thoughts on the match this weekend? And it was a pretty fun time. And he's like, you know what, he's got a good team this year. And he's like, don't mind luck, we're going to put it together this weekend and beat us. And BYU won it in 5 on Friday, which was pretty fun. Barely lost in 5 on Saturday. So John Sprout, he's also, not only is he the UCLA men's head coach, he's the USA national team head coach right now. So he's wearing a couple of different hats, and he's pretty impressive. Well, let's see what John has to say for us. We might want to run that back one more time.
Hi everyone, my name is John Sprout. I'm the head men's volleyball coach for the U.S. national team and for UCLA. I understand this is a big game tonight, the first game ever in the state of Utah for boys volleyball. I also serve as the chairman of the board of the First Point Volleyball Foundation, which was founded to grow boys and men's volleyball in the United States. And all of us, everybody in the community of volleyball, couldn't be more thrilled to hear what's going on tonight and what's building in the state of Utah. I think about the very first match I ever played in high school, and it wasn't very good. First matches usually aren't, even in UCLA this year, it wasn't very clean. But that's what we love about sport. We have an opportunity to work together and build towards the goal and continue to improve with hard work. And that's what makes all of us better people. It's what we love about volleyball and all the sports that we play. But to all those who are involved in starting this in the state of Utah, you should be very proud. All the boys and their parents, everybody involved should be very proud of what is occurring tonight and throughout the state of Utah now, because we're giving more boys the opportunity a great time. I wish you all the best in your seasons, and I wish everybody in Utah the best in this first season ever. Good luck.
John Sparrow. Oh, that's loud. So, sorry, okay, there we go. John's an amazing man, and he's basically reached the epitome of a volleyball player and a coach, and you wouldn't know it to talk to him. He's seriously the coolest, most down-to-earth guy ever. So that was awesome that he did that. This next individual, Charles Frederick, that probably isn't going to ring any bells, but Karch ought to ring some bells. If you're a volleyball enthusiast, Karch Karate is considered probably the best volleyball player ever played the game. Now, these days, there's giants out there that play this game. Karch is listed at 6'2", okay? I've hung out with him a little and stood next to him. He might be 6'1", maybe. The dude's skies, one of you guys, I was watching him warm up. This guy? Holy smokes. Jokes like this guy does. I'm just saying, at 6'2", being considered one of the best volleyball players in the world. There's a lot of gentlemen right here that as you guys continue to progress in this sport, there's potential. That's all I'm saying. So this is Karch Karate. He won a gold indoor.
Hi everybody, I'm Coach Kira. I was USA Volleyball here, and I want to send out a massive congratulations to Utah, the High School Association for adding boys volleyball to the official varsity sport list. And really big congratulations and good luck to the Vikings and the Bruins today. You are trailblazers. You are ladies. I was thinking about it right now. The first ever boys high school volleyball match, varsity volleyball, happening today. Volleyball's been a huge part of my life, and volleyball allowed me to meet my eventual future wife. We got married and had a family, so that's a huge one there. It also gave me, both as a player and now as a coach, this wonderful opportunity to pursue excellence and mastery and just become better and to pursue getting better in so many ways. And it gave me a way to support my family. So I'm excited for what is to come for you Bruins and you Vikings in terms of where it could go for you, but also excited for 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 and beyond. You guys are the trailblazers, but who knows who might come from the state of Utah and eventually represent USA Volleyball at massive competitions like an Olympics or World Championships at the national team level. So again, huge congratulations, and to everybody with Utah boys volleyball, go out there and crush it.
This guy is incredible. He's compared a lot to Karch Karate because of his hops. He's now on the beach. He played pro for a few years, made all his money, and now he's playing beach and trying to win as much as he can there and possibly represent the United States in the next Olympics. This is Taylor Sander.
Hi everybody, it's Taylor Sander. I just want to say how proud I am of Utah. First home boys high school volleyball match, Pleasant Grove and Mountain View. Congrats to being the first. I'm so excited for you guys as you know. Volleyball in Utah, it's very special to me, like 4 years in everybody. I just want to encourage you guys to keep working hard. This has been a lot of happenings for you boys. Take it serious, have fun, never keep working hard, and for sure, I'm looking forward to coming to a game when I'm in Utah. Go get it tonight, and I'm so proud that we have volleyball in Utah, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. Good luck.
They won a gold in 2008. Incredible to be. Here's Ryan Moore.
Hey, Olympic gold medalist, talent was already there, and we were coming. I see Utah being an eventual hotbed of talent for new American volleyball players that will impact the game, not only at the college level, but also the national big team levels as well. You all are helping it become systemic, which is so cool to see finally. I think about my Olympic journey, my volleyball journey. I think back to the first time I picked up a volleyball. I was hooked. Volleyball has given me the ability to experience so much in my life. It makes me incredibly happy to think that it will now be able to give the players of Utah that same gift. So good luck today to the PG Vikings and the Mountain View Bruins. Work hard, have fun, and most importantly, enjoy this unique experience and create some history.
And now coaches for St. Mary's.
Hello, Pleasant Grove Vikings and Mountain View Bruins. My name is Rob Browning, and I'm probably not as famous as some of the other people who have sent in videos here, but today you are. Today's an amazing day, and it's your day. This is a really special day, and some of you very well could go on to be famous in Utah volleyball history or even USA volleyball history. Utah already has a remarkable list of men's volleyball players who have either started their careers in Utah or spent a significant amount of their careers in Utah. Players and coaches, indoor and beach. It's a really amazing list. We have NCAA champions, Olympic gold medalists, lots of other players and coaches who have won titles and are MVPs in the Hall of Fame. It's an amazing list. It's about to get a lot longer and stronger with this important day right now. Enjoy today. Have a wonderful time. Compete hard. Remember it. Embrace the moment. Have a wonderful time with your teammates. And I think you'll remember it forever because no matter where you are, 10, 20, 30 years from now, you'll look back on this day and remember that you were part of history. Hope you have a fantastic day, and let's go!
Guys, this is a historic day. You guys play your hearts out. Hopefully the volleyball bug will bite you, and you will play this game as old as I am, still trying to get it done, still trying to put down a ball against huge blocks. You guys have a great day. Good luck to both teams. All right, we're going to take a couple pictures here, so just hang out for 64 seconds. Everybody that's wearing a first day member shirt, regardless of your grade, everyone that's wearing a first day member shirt.
Sheldon, student section.
Here. Coaches, managers, players, facing this way, facing me right there.
Thank you for joining us one more time as we just get closer and closer to the first serve in Utah high school boys volleyball history as the Vikings take on the Bruins. If you guys didn't kind of understand what really was just going on, there were many legends from across the sport of volleyball, both active players, active coaches for both boys and girls, who sent their messages to the Vikings and the Bruins for starting a new chapter in the world of high school volleyball, not just in Utah, but across the nation, as Utah looks to become one of the teams that can have a volleyball pipeline and kind of make themselves a standard in the world of volleyball. 4:30 left to go, we think, this time until these two teams set off to begin a brand new era. Pleasant Grove coming off a disappointing basketball season. Very few guys moved over. As we mentioned, the only guy who moved from varsity to varsity is Ethan Hilliard. But these guys have been practicing for a very long time and they added a volleyball class to the high school schedule for, I believe, the first time this year. And now that has become a team class, kind of the same way you have basketball at a certain class period every day for those on the team. You have volleyball at a certain class period every day for those on the team. So both of these schools have been working long and hard to get to this point, and it all begins in just a second. I think we've gone over everything basic when it comes to volleyball rules. Scoreboard is going to, I think we talked about the scoreboard that you guys will see on your screen. And, you know, there's no banner here in Valhalla for boys volleyball yet. The girls won volleyball in 2019, and that's the last volleyball banner up here. But the boys looking to start their quest to put a volleyball banner up in Valhalla, the first banner that would go up since 2021, when both boys lacrosse and wrestling won their respective championships. Mountain View, on the other hand, as we talked about a little earlier, they're a 4A team, a team who's kind of a little bit as we talked about Mountain View, a 4A team, not a team that Pleasant Grove faces in many sports, but a team that's set to make history here from Orem, Utah, the Mountain View Bruins. With 2:09 left to go, I'm kind of honestly just at a loss for what to talk about, because usually when you start these new seasons, you talk about how the last season went, but, you know, as we've talked about maybe too many times, there hasn't been a last season. This is the first one, and so there's not a ton to rehash on what they can improve on and you know, that sort of thing. But so if you look at Dave Neely, Pleasant Grove's head coach, actually coached at Mountain View to begin his high school career. Obviously, not obviously, but he did coach girls volleyball. And he spent 5 years in the college game as a volunteer assistant at Arizona State University and St. Mary's, as well as UVU. He made the NCAA tournament with St. Mary's in 2018, and he's a master when it comes to statistical breakdowns, scouting reports, practice plans, and on-court training. So Dave Neely began his Utah career for the team that he's going to face on the other side, whereas John Fairbanks for the Bruins played men's volleyball in 1996 for the BYU Cougars. He was 6'3". He probably still is 6'3". Born in 1972 in Detroit, Michigan. He studied elementary education, and he played basketball and baseball at White Bear Lake High in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. He served an LDS mission in the Dominican Republic. So plenty of volleyball knowledge on either side of these games. As now it is time, if you can't hear, for the highly anticipated beginning. As I believe we will start with a national anthem, but then it will be time for the set. We'll step away until we're ready to begin. So I have scoured the internet and I can't find anything that will show us throughout the game who is who for these Mountain View Bruins. So they'll kind of just have to be numbers throughout the day, but Pleasant Grove does have their roster uploaded. So starting for Pleasant Grove, Weston Johansson, number 4, as outside hitter. Playing middle blocker, number 10, the sophomore Aki Tituamaya Maliatoa. Playing outside hitter, number 12, Tyson Jarvis, making his start. Starting number 15, Tyson Thomas, the young 9th grade freshman. As the senior, number 24, Caleb Sinte, or excuse me, number 34, Kennedy Lee. And the 5th out of 6 guys, number 25, Jackson Fink. And finally playing center, number 30, Ethan Hilliard. The junior playing opposite, number 33, Braden Thomas as well. The team manager, Paikia Hatch, not here today. Skipping out on the first game ever, I guess, going on vacation. As Dave Neely, the inaugural head coach for these Pleasant Grove Vikings, as that is a really good vocal range as the two teams get ready to face off for the first ever boys volleyball game. They'll touch the posts and they'll touch hands as the Vikings prepare to face the Bruins. There's been a lot of hype, not just today, not just in the last 30 minutes, not just in the last 5 minutes, but throughout the last couple months, throughout the last year since boys volleyball has been announced as a varsity sanctioned sport. This has been a moment that people have been waiting for. These players knew that they would end off, some of them their senior years, some of them their freshman years. They knew they would end it off playing volleyball here on this Valhalla court, and now that dream comes true. This angle courtesy of Dawson Illy. Our other broadcast members today, Caden Duffield running the scoreboard, Sheldon Sweet producing. One more time, I'm Alan Judson here with
Zane Garothy.
And we are going to be your commentators today. Zane's a freshman. He is a little scared to talk. You might not hear a lot of him today. But as the refs will take their posts. You can see the ref, or I guess you can see the back of a ref on the sideline closest to you. As there will be one more referee on the opposite side watching out of bounds. As we are ready for the Vikings and the Bruins. Both teams getting set, getting ready. As Mountain View makes what looks a little bit like a late substitution, whether intentionally or accidentally, or not sure what, but those 29 and 28 on the Bruins will switch out again. No roster for Mountain View. But now a substitution made as 29 checks in for 28. For Pleasant Grove, Weston Johansson, Ethan Hilliard, and one more guy. Weston Johansson, Ethan Hilliard, and Braden Thomas. Vikings that are going to be anchoring the front three. Serving for Pleasant Grove and serving everyone in the state of Utah to kick off boys volleyball is Tyson Jarvis, number 12. The serve off the left hand, and we're beginning. And it's an ace to open up the game for Pleasant Grove and to open up boys volleyball. Pleasant Grove opens with an ace, as Jarvis will get another serve after so brilliantly executing the first one. His second serve goes off the right hand. Hits the top of the net, and it's another one. Who but Tyson Jarvis? 2 for 2 so far. What a performance.
What 2 amazing serves.
Aces are celebrated at college level because of how rare they are. And Jarvis has 2 quick ones, and that one goes way out the back. He's been hitting the gym a little too much, and that will give a point to the Bruins. But Jarvis begins the game 2-0. As now for the Bruins, number 4 will be serving. Again, we don't have a roster. That'll be the last time I bring it up, but we're not sure who it is, as now a whistle blown. It's a little foreign. It's a little weird to kind of see how these coaches are standing here, because we're not used to, in basketball, we're not used to seeing these coaches be allowed to come out nearly as far as they are. But Dave Neely had an issue with something, as now he will consult a referee. But what a start for Tyson Jarvis and the Vikings. As now ready to serve are the Bruins. Off the right hand and out of bounds. Point for Pleasant Grove. As no need to get near that one. So we have yet to have a serve returned. We've got a 3-1 game. Pleasant Grove with the serve. This one's going to get returned. As we talked about, bump, set, spike. There's a good block, but returned by the Bruins. Set up, little lob, and it's spiked down and into the ground by Kennedy Lee. As that makes it 4-1 Vikings. Serving for Pleasant Grove now is Braden Thomas. As he sends his first serve right into the net, and that will be a point for the Bruins. Excuse me, that was his second serve. Now a substitution for Mountain View. Now number 9 for the Bruins will be sending this one over to Pleasant Grove's side. As the Bruins sends his right paw through it.
And
a little bit of confusion on the Mountain View side, a little teardrop put over the net. Hilliard sets, Johansson spikes it out of bounds. A good volley and a good, in other sports I'd call that a good, I can't think of the word now, but I'm not sure the phrasing. Good sequence is what we'll stick with. That one's sent straight up. Hilliard bumps it up, put over the net. Mountain View sends it right back, and it goes out of bounds with Weston Johansson letting everyone know that Pleasant Grove just got one more point on the board. 5-3 now. Hilliard will serve now for Pleasant Grove. The Vikings' 3-point shooter is now going to be sending serves from where he usually sends shots, and he gets an ace. As just a miscommunication on the Mountain View side gives Pleasant Grove a point, and now Hilliard just needs to know where the ball is. So Pleasant Grove so far with some great serving performances. As you can see, Hilliard's got his basketball poster behind him. Hilliard sends it up. This one will be returned by the Bruins, and it's a good block and sent back to the forest by Kennedy Lee once again. He's been the king of rejection for the Vikings defense so far. As Hilliard once again serving, as there's going to be another one that's sent out of bounds by the Bruins. There's what I believe is technically an ace. And Pleasant Grove now takes an 8-3 lead. It's been all Vikings so far. Another one for Hilliard.
this one will be returned.
Popped up spike and answered back. This time by Maliatoa, paired with Lee. The Vikings make it a 9-3 ball game. Saying this has really been just all Pleasant Grove. I think every Mountain View point has just been scored off a Pleasant Grove mistake.
Yeah.
As there's an ace for Hilliard one more time. And a timeout called. Each team gets 2 timeouts here in volleyball. 2 timeouts per set, and the first one used their minute-long timeouts. If I had to guess, that one's got to have been used by the Bruins, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. Like you said earlier, a lot of the Bruins' points are from Vikings' mistakes, but a lot of our points are, I think we have 4 from aces.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
And all the other points, I think, are from blocks. So, what an amazing performance by the Vikings.
Yeah, and so far it's been, I mean, Hilliard has had a great stretch of serves so far. Tyson Jarvis had a good set to begin the game. And then Kennedy Lee has kind of just been a brick wall down low, not letting anything past him. And that's been the story of the Vikings game so far, as they've taken a 7-point lead here early in the first set. As the Bruins are slow to get on the floor, they take advantage of their full minute. And no reason not to. Pleasant Grove had a pretty good show out for this game. Mountain View did as well, and that one's going to be sent out of bounds. The diving effort by number 9 to no avail. And Pleasant Grove continues to just pour it on. A dominant performance by the Vikings so far. Hilliard one more time, because why not? Vikings going to return this one, whistle blown. One of the Vikings touched the net, and that is going to send the ball back to Mountain View's side as they score a point to make it 11-4. I believe it was on the effort to make a block. Contact with the net was made. As another point for Pleasant Grove. And now it's Weston Johansson's time to serve. His first is a little too strong and sends it right back over to the Mountain View. Coach Fairbanks for the Bruins is going to make a substitution once again. Number 1 comes in, number 14 will check out. And number 1 will begin his time serving. As his first was going to be returned by Pleasant Grove. Hilliard bumps. And it's a good pick by the Bruins. They try and set it on the brick wall. Is going to go to the Vikings.
Puts the score to 13-5.
Once again, just another great block by Pleasant Grove, but now the guy who's been the brick wall gets his turn to serve. Here's Kennedy Lee sending it off his own right hand. There we see bump set and no spike sent.
Confusion by the Bruins.
Just another miscommunication, something that's been the story of the game so far for Mountain View as Pleasant Grove takes a double-digit lead. Maybe it's just a 9-point lead. Maybe I'm wrong, but here's Lee sending it back over again, and it goes out of bounds. So 14-6 the score now. Pleasant Grove still yet to bring anyone off their bench. Bruins continue to. Number 24 checks in for number 9, who checked in to serve. As the serve by number 9.
Will be returned by the Vikings.
Jarvis to Johansson. And now Malakepa sends it over. Maliatoa, excuse me. As the Vikings tip it over, and it's going to be a point for Pleasant Grove. That was Maliatoa who made the final effort that gave Pleasant Grove their 15th point.
Vikings up by 9. Vikings up by 9, 15-6.
And now Maliatoa will get to reward himself by the serve. Bump, set, spike. And that one just goes right through the legs. A great spike by the Bruins. And that one goes through the legs of Kennedy Lee. And that was really the first success we've seen for Mountain View defensively. Coming up with a good answer to a serve by Pleasant Grove. As something has to be thrown off the court, but now Mountain View ready to serve. Here's number 7. Jarvis to Hilliard. Hilliard to Johansson, who puts a little too much heat on it. I think Johansson might need to lay off the gym a little bit. He's hit a couple just balls that might have had trails of fire behind him out the back. Serve is too strong. And the Vikings get the point for that one. Volleyball does have a win by 2 rule. So it's not necessarily first to 25, it's just first to 25 and also up by 2. As we see bump, set, spike, that one's just gonna be pushed over the net. Grabbed by Lee to Hilliard to Johansson. And it's sat down by 24 and 29 for the Bruins as they build a brick wall of their own to get themselves to 9 points. Still looking for double digits as the Vikings are at 16. And another substitution for the Bruins. Pleasant Grove still keeping all 6 starters on the floor. As Mountain View has made a full rotation serving. Just bumped up Hilliard, kind of the designated assist man. As there's a good spike right into the ready arms of number 7 for the Bruins, but it's poked out of bounds, and now Pleasant Grove with an 8-point lead. The Pleasant Grove Vikings are actually wearing, they're wearing basketball jerseys right now. They're waiting for their custom-made, kind of, they're really cool jerseys. That one hits the head of a referee, but it went off Viking hands. He wore it like a champ. I don't even know if he had a reaction to it, but.
Don't think he did there. It's interesting to see how far the coaches are able to come on the court. You're not used to being able to see that in basketball, so.
Yeah, as we talked about, it's these dark gray lines that you can see on your screen. So usually Coach McAllister's not really allowed off that dark blue line, but volleyball guys are, you know, Coach Neely could shoot a 3-pointer right now from good distance. Bruins send it over. Jarvis pokes it up. Hilliard setting once again to Johansson. Right into Bruin hands. And the Bruins have picked it up after a slow start. Defensively, Mountain View playing much, much better than we saw them in the first half or so of this set. Really making a push. Once again, Mountain View serves. And once again, it's Jarvis to Hilliard. This time it's Lee, returned by the Bruins. Johansson, Hilliard, and Jarvis pokes it. Not even, that wasn't a poke, that was a very strong spike right into the hole of the Bruins defense. And that gives Pleasant Grove an 18-11 lead. Hilliard now serving. Bump, set, spike. A slow teardrop right into the net, and it's going to be Pleasant Grove's point. Not enough heat put on that one. As Hilliard's going to get another chance to serve, trying to put the Vikings, get the Vikings to 20 points. That's going to be Mountain View's point as it was poked out of bounds. I also think there might have been, we talked about in the beginning, kind of the rule where you can't touch the ball at certain points, and I think that might have been one of the instances where they weren't allowed to touch the ball. Mountain View tries to go hurry up. Here's Malietoa with an amazing spike. Malietoa, excuse me. I'm going to struggle with that name all season. But the Vikings get to 20. Now Johansson will serve. Oh, he was trying to float it over. No such success will be found. The Vikings have done such a good job with these blocks and denying these spikes. Johansson once again serves. Just a short teardrop, and once again just returned by Malatoa and Lee. That one's gonna go out of bounds, and it's gonna be another Viking point. It's crazy, Zane, I don't know about you, this court seems small.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know if it's different for high school from college, but the control that you see these players have, being able to keep it in, I feel like it would be very easy to just put way too much heat on it. We've seen that a couple times, but not as much as, you know, you might expect.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot smaller.
As here's a good sequence. Here's Hilliard. Now a big, I thought it was gonna be a big spike, but instead Kennedy Lee just kind of floats it over some Bruin fingers, and that gives the Vikings 23 points, 2 away from taking the first set. As that one's poked by Kennedy Lee, as the Vikings now 1 point away from winning the first ever set in Utah boys volleyball history, doubling the Bruins score of 12. Johansson's gonna try and finish Pleasant Grove off. Here's his serve. Difficult one to return, but returned into the net. And that does it. Pleasant Grove takes the first set by a score of 25-12. Utter dominance, really, in that first set. Zane, what did you see?
There was a lot of blocks by the Vikings, as you could tell. A lot of our points were from blocks and spikes and aces. As far on Viking side, we are doing a really good job with all of our blocks. We're not having a lot of miscommunications as far as I can see. I don't know if you've seen any miscommunications from Vikings. And as far as Bruins side, I think they just need to fix up their communication, and they'll figure it out. But that concludes the first set with Vikings volleyball, first ever game in Utah history. Concludes the score 25-12.
I think you talked about those aces, and I think that was a big thing for Pleasant Grove to start their season off with a great stretch of serving. I don't know if it was nerves on the Mountain View side or if it was just simply being unprepared for kind of how this Pleasant Grove team was going to play, but a great stretch to begin the season for Pleasant Grove when it came to serving. I think we said 4 or so in the first 10 points for Pleasant Grove, and then I don't think they had another one the whole rest of the set, but amazing, really the best start you could ask for Pleasant Grove, winning the first set by 13 points. Now they move on to the second set, looking to take a commanding 2-0 lead. If you look at that Mountain View side, you talked a little about communication, and I think you're dead on about that as kind of something they struggled with, and that's something that is going to have to be improved. 3 or 4 of those aces were just miscommunications where they didn't know which guy was going to go for it, and I think that's got to be the number one thing for Mountain View to focus on. But do you have anything else that you've seen from the Bruins that they need to pick up here in the second set and moving on in this game?
I think as far as what they need to pick up, I think they just need to pick up their communications and work as a team, and they'll get back in it. But
yeah, I think this game, you know, one thing you'll see in volleyball is this game is far from over. If this is a basketball game, Pleasant Grove has a commanding 13-point lead, but being a volleyball game, the whole board is basically just wiped.
yeah.
You know, you're back at a 0-0 game, and all you got to do is get to 25 before the other team here, and you basically got a brand new ball game, and you're just playing to 3 sets. So this is a big set for the Bruins to try and get back in this one. It would be very damaging for them to go down 2-0. That's a very difficult hole to climb out of for any team at any level. As Pleasant Grove sticks with the same 6 guys on the court. It's Johansson, Hilliard, Malatoa, Kennedy Lee, Braden Thomas, Tyson Jarvis.
Bruins with a good amount of substitutions, and Vikings with absolutely no substitutions this entire game. Interesting to see if they'll make a lot of subs this game or if they're going to keep the starting 6 for a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that if they do kind of try and roll with this starting 6, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they get into games later in the season where they've got 6, five-set games, and how these players will keep their stamina up and keep their bodies in good shape throughout the entire season if they do try and stick with kind of the same guys. Here's Mountain View starting it off with the serve. Good dig. Oh, Hilliard just puts it right over. He's been the guy who's been setting it throughout the entire game, and that time he just says he'll send it right over, and that sends the Vikings to a 1-point lead and sends the ball over to Pleasant Grove to serve here. Here's Johansson. This one's going to be returned by the Bruins. Big spike attempt. Malatoa. Jarvis floats that one up. Hilliard is going to set it, and it's going to be spiked by Kennedy Lee, but it goes out of bounds. And it's going to be Mountain View serve. As number 4 for the Bruins will take the serve now. Big dig by Johansson. As that one, good block by the Bruins. We talked about the Vikings brick wall in the first set. Through the last couple minutes, it's been the Bruins who have put up a big brick wall.
Looks like the Bruins changed up their formation of how they lined up.
Another diving stop by Johansson. Hilliard thought it was going over the net. Now Mountain View up 3-1. One thing I have noticed is if you watch the stands on the opposite side, when big plays are made, they're kind of split right down the middle. Mountain View has their side, Pleasant Grove has their side, and there isn't a ton of mixing between these two teams as that ball hits the net, and it's going to be Pleasant Grove getting the serve and getting the point. Ethan Hilliard going to serve now. The senior puts it over with his right hand. That's a deep spike, and it goes a little too far out of bounds. As Braden Thomas tried to send that one to the other side of the net and put a little too much heat on it. So now Mountain View, number 9, takes his position to serve, up 2 early in this second set. As he sends it right into the net. And Pleasant Grove takes possession. As here's Lee for Pleasant Grove now. Mountain View saves what could have been a disaster. Hilliard sets it up. Jarvis sets it down. As the Vikings tie this one up 4-4. And Kennedy Lee's going to get another chance to serve. Go up, right hand. Sends it over and just too far out of bounds. That's a great job reading that one by number 4 on the Bruins side in the white jersey. As returning the favor on the other side, sending their serve out of bounds. Jarvis is now going to get his, I believe this is his second chance to serve. He started the game off with a couple aces. He's going to look to repeat that performance. Starts it out with a strong one, but it's picked up by the Bruins. Good block by Malatoa, and we talked about those communication issues, and that's another instance of it. As Mountain View lets that one drop between 2 players who had more than a good chance to get to it. And it cost them a point.
Puts the score up 6-5.
Jarvis put too much heat on that one. That ties this one up one more time. These two teams knock themselves up at 6s.
Bruins with a substitution, 29 going in for number 4.
Number 1 checks in as well for number 14. And number 1 will immediately serve. Hilliard's gonna set it up again, and the third or fourth guy gets it. Jarvis sends it over. Now the Bruins try and send it over. Jarvis makes the diving stop and poked over by Hilliard. Great showing by the Vikings so far. Johansson keeps this one alive. Hilliard sends it up for Johansson to rock it down. What a sequence for Pleasant Grove of just pure wizardry. As balls kept alive that we thought were going out of bounds, and then a powerful spike by Johansson. And Pleasant Grove takes their first lead of this set before Johansson and Hilliard put a little too much on that one and send it out of bounds, and we knot ourselves up one more time. These teams just can't stop themselves from being tied up with each other. Number 9 serves, and way too strong. As Pleasant Grove takes the lead again. Braden Thomas will serve for the Vikings. As we see the traditional bump set spike sent right into the arms of Johansson. Hilliard sets it now for Johansson to send back. As it's going to be Mountain View ball and a Mountain View score. Not sure the exact ruling. But these teams continue to just want to stay close. As Jarvis, Hilliard just pokes it over again. That's the second time he's done it in this second set. Something he's so good at. And now Johansson will serve for Pleasant Grove. As he sends it right into the net. So again, these teams knot themselves up. Back at 9. As a substitution for the Bruins, 29 checks out, 14 checks in, number 1 checks out, number 4 checks in. So kind of redoing that substitution from just a little bit ago.
Number 4 straight to serving.
In his white jersey. Hilliard's gonna set it this time and brought down by Kennedy Lee. The versatility that Hilliard has with his ability to kind of send that teardrop over the net, unsuspectingly Mountain View has done a great job adapting. As we just saw, Hilliard got the ability to set it, and Mountain View had to have someone jump up to try and block, and then it just set up the opportunity for a spike. So we'll see how their game plan changes for that again. As that one's sent over and just drops right in front of Kennedy Lee. And again, these teams tie themselves up. I think they tied up at 6, 7, 8, 9, and now 10.
Yep, this entire game has been either tied or 1-point game.
Another substitution for the Bruins as 24 checks out. Number 9 checks in and goes right to serving. He sends it off the right hand right into the net, and Pleasant Grove takes the ball back. Kennedy Lee gonna get a chance to serve after he made the offensive mistake the last time Pleasant Grove served. Good serve. That one's gonna be sent over by number 7. No, it's not, right into the net. And now Pleasant Grove takes their first multi-score lead of this second set. As it's 12-10. That one was going out of bounds, but bumped anyway, and the Vikings brick wall. Those brick walls have names, Malia Toa and Braden Thomas, the 2 defenders that stopped that spike. And another serve by Kennedy Lee. Once again blocked, but this time the Bruins get a chance to return it. Jarvis with a great save. Lee keeps it alive, gives it back to the Bruins. And there's just a great spike by Mountain View. Goes off Viking fingertips. And that's going to give the Bruins a 2-point deficit now, as they're going to get the opportunity to serve. As that's going to be Mountain View ball. Pleasant Grove looked like it was kept alive, but I think some infraction around the net. Here's another serve. Johansson gets it to Jarvis. Sent over, kept alive. Hilliard ran out of space. And Mountain View ties this one up.
Like I said before, Mountain View just had to pick up their communication, and that's what they're doing this second set, and it's working out really well for them.
Just a little too much heat put on that one, as the Vikings will get the serve back. Jarvis serves. And a great one, there's an ace. The first one since that first set. Jarvis leading the team. I mean, he has to be.
Yeah.
It's either him or Hilliard leading the team in these aces. Jarvis puts that one perfectly on the back line. So we talked about that line is in. So he's gonna get a second chance, and that one's too strong. So lightning does not strike twice for Tyson Jarvis. It struck 4 times in this game with those aces, but he couldn't pin it on that back line twice in a row, as Mountain View makes another substitution. I believe it's the one we've seen so much today. Number 1 for number 4, and then number 29 for number 14. Right into the serve. Hilliard puts it up and put down by Braden Thomas. As this is a crucial stretch here of this second set for both the Vikings and the Bruins, as a run by either team likely puts this one to bed. Sent back over. Bruins keep it alive, but put too much heat on it. And Pleasant Grove, oh, excuse me, that one was in. Pleasant Grove loses that point.
This entire set has been really close. It's been tied, Vikings up by 2, and then up by 1. Just back and forth the whole set.
Yeah, the Bruins looking to tie this one up one more time. Hilliard looking to end that with his set. Johansson's spike is just out of bounds. And so the Bruins do get a chance to tie this one up, and now they have a chance to take the lead. They haven't had the lead in this set since the very, very beginning. Put up. Oh, it was out of bounds, but kept alive. Hilliard to Jarvis. Jarvis sends it over and right into the net by the Bruins. Pleasant Grove catches a break after returning a ball that did not need to be returned. A 1-point lead by Pleasant Grove now. Braden Thomas, the server for the Vikings, as he puts too much fire on that one. 38.8 miles an hour on that serve. And number 7 for the Bruins. Johansson pokes it over, and just great placement by Weston Johansson as the Vikings take a 1-point lead. I'm too used to being in this arena with the basketball team. I always called him Milo Johansson. It's the wrong Viking Johansson, as now Johansson gets a chance to serve. And I'll stop saying Johansson. He sent it right into the net. And we're once again tied up at 18. That serve clocked at 36.4, so it would get a ticket in a residential area.
Another substitution for the Bruins. 29 goes out, 4 comes in. And
right to serving.
Yeah. There was one more substitution, but I didn't see it.
A little too much heat put on it as Pleasant Grove takes a 1-point lead. Now this is definitely a big stretch for both of these teams, as if one of these teams can make a run and take this second set, it either resets the game for Mountain View or gives Pleasant Grove a big lead as that one goes right out of bounds. Vikings didn't touch it. And now Ethan Hilliard, well, I think he'd be pretty happy if he can end this set off for Pleasant Grove here. He owns the longest stretch of serves for Pleasant Grove in this game, and it's sent back by Kennedy Lee and Maliatoa. What a great job that front line has done all day today to keep Mountain View's spikes ineffective, as now a timeout used by the Bruins, their first of this second set. Pleasant Grove still yet to call one. I don't know if the volleyball team's looking for the same thing the basketball team was looking for and trying to gas out the opponent, but no substitutions made and no timeouts called by Pleasant Grove's side so far.
Interesting play for not doing any substitutions, but I mean, it's worked out well for Vikings. And if they keep doing what they're doing, they're winning this set.
A great start to this season so far for Pleasant Grove, especially if they can finish off this second set. But the Bruins have shown a lot more fight, and I think those the communication issues we talked about in the first set have largely been cleaned up. There have been 2 or 3 instances of communication being an issue here in the second set for Mountain View, but otherwise it's been a very, very clean set. There's a lot of buzz and a lot of media presence around this game, but we are the only place you can find to stream. We thank you for joining us. As in a crucial part of this second set, Hilliard's gonna serve. The Bruins have to get a stop and go on a little bit of their own run, as set up nicely here, but too strong on the spike. Number 5 for Mountain View sends it out the back. And now it's really feels like do or die time for this Mountain View team. They'd have to go on a big run if they want to win this second set. Hilliard sends it into the net. That's a good start for the Bruins.
This is the Bruins one. Well, I feel like maybe one chance to get this score back up.
Yeah, if you give the ball back to Pleasant Grove, 23 to wherever you get, it kind of feels like you're almost giving away this set with the way they've been serving throughout this day so far. As that's a good stop. Hilliard's gonna keep it in, and a spike is sent back. Malatoa keeps it in. Kennedy Lee is a one-man wrecking crew in front. Tyson Jarvis spikes it down. What another amazing sequence for Pleasant Grove as they get a big point. We were just talking about how you kind of feel like it's do or die time for the Bruins, and Pleasant Grove, Mountain View did a great job on that set in that sequence, and Pleasant Grove decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands and score their own point as Lee to Hilliard to Malatoa sends it into the net, and it goes back to the Bruins. So that's a disappointing finish by Pleasant Grove after they set themselves up so well to go and win that set in that serve. And they couldn't. Kennedy Lee gets it off. Johansson keeps it in, as it's just poked over by number 7 for the Bruins. Hilliard didn't know where to go. Just kind of put between a rock and a hard place, as he's feeling like it's the right move to try and poke that one over. Pleasant Grove now takes it to a match point, a set point, excuse me. Up 24-21, Tyson Jarvis is gonna try to end it off. He's Pleasant Grove's server here. Jarvis off the right hand, and did he pin it perfectly? He did. Jarvis ends it off with an ace, and the Vikings take a 2-0 set lead. What an amazing second set by both teams. That was really, it's been short, but that's the best volleyball we've watched all season. Just a great job by Mountain View to kind of stay in it, and then a great job by Pleasant Grove to pull away when they really needed to. And they take the second set 25-21, so nothing close to their dominant 13-point victory in that first set, but winning a set is winning a set. Now they're just one more set away from taking this inaugural match.
What an amazing way to end a set with an ace by Jarvis. It's his, what, fifth
It's
ace?
his fourth or fifth of the day so far.
Yeah, his fourth or fifth ace of the day.
And really, it's been the Vikings serves that have really kind of put them in the driver's seat in this game. It's been a lot of aces and a lot of hard positions that they've put this Mountain View team in, as Mountain View's had to try and claw back throughout almost the entirety of this game from every position they've been in. And now they really have to claw back, down 2-0 here in this game so far. Shout out to GK Jared for blocking his ex. I just thought everyone on the stream should know that. We're very proud of him for moving on as we move on here to this third set between the Vikings and the Bruins, Pleasant Grove looking to go home with a sweep, or stay home, I guess, with a sweep. And the Bruins looking to claw back, and that all starts with set 3 here. Pleasant Grove still yet to use a timeout or make a single substitution. It's been the same 6 guys on the court the entire game. Mountain View has really only used 8 different guys, but they've been substituting them in and out a lot.
I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to take it back to the Bruins communication.
Yeah.
I feel like their communication, obviously from the first set, wasn't the best. Made a lot of mistakes, but they fixed it up in the second set, and that really, really helped them put the lead up. They only lost by 4, but their communication helped them a lot with that.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get ready to begin this third set here. Pleasant Grove getting ready to face the Bruins. Johansson. Johansson's going to start us off, as Pleasant Grove is going to make their first substitution of this game. Out goes Braden Thomas, and in comes Jackson Fink. He's in the blue jersey for Pleasant Grove. The first time we've seen him today, and Pleasant Grove's first substitution. Thomas sits at the end of the bench.
And Jackson Fink is a freshman too.
Johansson sends it in. Bump, set, spike. Good spike, but it still gets to Johansson. Jarvis pokes it over and puts a lot of power on it. 40 miles an hour. As Pleasant Grove takes an early lead. On the court now for Pleasant Grove is Malatoa, Fink, Johansson, Hilliard, Jarvis, and rounding it off is Kennedy Lee. Johansson sends it over. Once again, bump, set, spike, weak one, but put in a hard spot for Johansson to get. Hilliard runs over and gets it. Jarvis spikes it over, puts it in a hole in the Bruins defense, and Mountain View now down 2-0. Johansson with a good run to open up this third set. And that one's going to be sent into the crowd, and an ace.
Puts the score up to 3-0 for Vikings. Couldn't ask for a better start to the third set.
Those 3 points really haven't been any issues on the Mountain View side. It's just been Pleasant Grove playing an amazing brand of volleyball. As the teardrop is poked out of bounds. That was a mistake by Mountain View. That's a great look. That's a great hit. Just put a little too much on it. And now Pleasant Grove with a chance to go up 5-0 if Johansson can capitalize here. As he sends that one to the bottom of the net. And now it's 4-1. Number 4 serving now for the Bruins. Here's Fink with his first touch. Lee sends it into the hands of the Bruins, but nobody touches it before it goes out of bounds. So the Vikings take the point. And now Ethan Hilliard to serve. Hilliard sends it over. As we see, bump, set, spike. Right to Fink, Fink to Hilliard, Hilliard to Malitoa. Just put it a little too far in front of him. And that will give the Bruins a point and the serve.
Substitution for the Bruins, 9 coming in for 24, and 9 going straight into serving.
Those substitutions haven't really netted a ton of success for this Mountain View team. But if any time to find success, it's now. Kennedy Lee forces 3 Bruins to dive for it. They put themselves in a position to succeed, but there was no one to go pick up where the ball went. And now Pleasant Grove up 6-2. Here's Lee. That's a miscommunication, and there's an ace.
That miscommunication.
Miscommunication.
Whoa. Yeah. That's what can really not help the Bruins here. And
Lee sends it to the net. Yeah, it's been those miscommunications, and it's been those balls that the Bruins really just let drop that's caused this game to be all Vikings so far. That's something that has to be cleaned up, not just today, but throughout the season, as we see another substitution for Pleasant Grove. Kennedy Lee checks out, and we see the first of, I'm not completely sure. It's David Quinones.
Yeah.
He's wearing number 20. So Tyson Jarvis will serve now. The Vikings up 5 here in this third set, looking to end the game. Jarvis gets his serve returned out of bounds. So he's going to get another serve opportunity, trying to get the Vikings to double digits here. I have to say, I love the fit by Coach Neely. He's got the first game ever shirt on just to represent. Then he's got the suit on over it. Always classy.
What an amazing fit for the first game.
As that ball, well, an infraction committed by the Bruins, and it's going to give the Vikings their 10th point of this third set, as this third set has really been all Vikings. So the first set was all Pleasant Grove, and the second set was extremely competitive, and then this third set has so far been all Pleasant Grove. Jarvis with another serve into the net. Mountain View substitutes. In comes number 10, out goes number 14, out goes number 4 as well. I didn't catch who checked in for him.
Bruins substitutions have been, I'm pretty sure, the same substitutions for the last 3 sets.
Very similar, as the serve to Jarvis, to Hilliard. And a good return by Mountain View forces a mistake. And now it's very early here in this third set, but Mountain View's either got to start chipping away at this lead or start making a run, because they're running out of time to come back in this game. The serve, whistle's blown. Pleasant Grove had a formation issue. I believe Hilliard or any Viking is required to be in that front 10 feet, the front box that you see there. And nobody was. They still don't have anyone in there. So maybe that's not the rule, but maybe they can't have anyone in that front end. I'm not sure. Johansson, a little too strong there. Good look, but gets a point over to the Bruins. As another serve by number 10 to Jarvis. Jarvis to Hilliard. Hilliard to Malatoa. Diving bump. Keeps it alive for Mountain View.
Right to David.
As a point for the Bruins. I'm not sure what for. I think it was a double hit.
Was it?
The referee held up a 2 after the whistle was blown. And that's just my best guess.
Sure, it did not look like a double hit, but
Hilliard sets it up. Johansson puts it down and sent into the crowd by the Bruins. It's going to be Viking volleyball. The Vikings stop a little bit of a run. This is Malatoa. Sends it over. Vikings looking to send it back over. Set down, but blocked by the Bruins. But blocked out of bounds. As the Vikings get the point regardless.
Malatoa back with the serve.
Well placed. And out of bounds. Vikings now up 5 once again. Malatoa sends it over. It stays alive. It rolls over the net. As it's poked over by the Bruins. Hilliard sets it up for Jarvis, who sets it down. Going off the hands of number 10 on the Bruins and giving the Vikings another point. So we're going to see Malatoa serve one more time. His last one was a little low. This one is a little hard, a little high, a little too hard. As that stops a short 4-0 Viking run. As we see, for the first time, Adam Jenkins check in, and we see Malatoa check out. We did see Braden Thomas check back in. As Johansson, Jarvis sets it down right into the hands of the Bruins and into the net. As a point goes towards the Bruins. Hilliard sets it up for Thomas to set down, but returned by the Bruins. Fought for a little bit. Johansson's gonna have to barely poke it over the net. Good save by Thomas. And now the third hit by the Bruins is gonna have to be a soft one to send it back. Hilliard sets it up. Johansson can't set it down. And put right into the net by Quinones. And the Bruins feel a spark. Now it's up to them to try and catch fire.
Number 5 serving for the Bruins.
A serve right into the net. And it's going to be Viking volleyball. Thomas will serve. Bump, set, spike is blocked by Johansson, but I think he hit the net. Or it went out of bounds. Either way, Bruins get the point. As there's an issue with the antenna somewhere. So I think everything's been fixed.
Looks like there was a substitution for Vikings, but didn't catch it.
Oh, Fink did check back in. A whistle blown. I think Hilliard was in this front 10 feet, which it looks like he's allowed to be because he stayed there. I don't know what the issue was for Pleasant Grove's setup. As another substitution for Pleasant Grove, as coming in and serving is Tyson Thomas, the young freshman. As he's gonna make a good save there, but neither Jarvis nor Hilliard could get to it. And the Bruins have pushed this one within 2, and they've been in large control the last couple serves here in this third set.
Substitution for the Bruins. Looks like 29 came in or went out, and number 4 came in and went straight to serving.
Number 10 checked out as well. Not sure who came in, but as you mentioned, number 4 on the serve. The serve, weird hit by Lee and sent out of bounds eventually by Jarvis. And we are to a 1-point set here. As the Bruins have roared back. Jarvis sends it to Hilliard. Hilliard puts it up for Lee. Lee puts it down. And now Jarvis puts it down, but returned both times by the Bruins. Jarvis sends it back, hittable. Hilliard with a good connection. The spike hits Viking fingertips. Hilliard puts it up. Jarvis puts it down, but too strong. And the Bruin faithful are loud and proud as we are tied up at an so sweet 16.
What an amazing comeback by the Bruins.
Hilliard puts it up, and Lee puts it down. Vikings stop the bleeding for now, as we'll see Malateo check in. Hilliard, you can tell he played basketball if you saw the way that he picked up that ball ready to serve between the legs twice and then behind the back. Hilliard looking to put it behind the net. Puts it over. Bump, set, spike. Blocked by 2 Vikings, pushed out of bounds by the Bruins. And to keep a Mountain View Bruin from diving into the scorer's table, ball is blown dead. As this is a pivotal serve for Hilliard. And just a little too strong. So a net 0 appearance for Hilliard.
Substitution for the Bruins. Number 9 came in for 24, and number 9 went straight into serving.
Yeah, we've seen him do that a lot so far today. Very, very talented server. And Mountain View could use a big showing by him here. Lee. Jarvis tries to put it down and does. What a great spike by Tyson Jarvis. As we see Thomas check in now. Serving for Pleasant Grove is Lee. Lee, bump, set, spike. And a good spike by 22 on the Bruins. And staying right in it is this Bruins volleyball team, refusing to go into hibernation. As that one served right into the net at 53.4 miles an hour. That's a ticket on Pleasant Grove Boulevard. These speeds just getting better and better. Not saying I've never gone 53 on Pleasant Grove Boulevard. I'm just saying you shouldn't.
That's crazy. That is.
I hope my mom's not listening. Here's Jarvis.
Yeah, you better.
Their spike is sent into the Vikings brick wall, and that's Malatoa. And a timeout called by the Bruins as they're on their final leg. 21-18, trying to avoid the sweep by the Vikings. It's the Vikings serve when we come back. Jarvis is going to send over the serve. He was the one who started it for Pleasant Grove. Could be the one to end it if he has a good stretch here. Bump, set, spike, sent down. Picked up by Lee to Hilliard and sent down by Thomas and into the crowd. Vikings 3 points away from sweeping this initial game, excuse me. As a whistle blown, and we're going to see another substitution for Pleasant Grove. Weston Johansson checks out. Jarvis's serve is an ace. And the Vikings celebrate accordingly. Kennedy Lee not happy that he didn't see Ethan Hilliard or his main man, who's really made a big, big difference there on the front line, Malatoa, celebrate either. Jarvis sends it into the net, and we're going to have to wait one more time to have a set and a match point. Number 10 checks in for the Bruins. Number 14 checks out. Number 4 checks out. And one more man checked in. Number 10 for the Bruins will serve as a big run is necessary. Sent over. Hilliard keeps it alive and sent right down 53 miles an hour. That was Aki Titiuamia Malatoa. I am so sorry because I probably just messed that up. We do not have a pronunciation guide. And Malatoa will check out. And coming in to try and end this one off is going to be Caleb Sinte. 1 point away. Sinte sends it over. Bump. Pushing it over. Bruins send it back. Kennedy Lee sends it back. A set and a spike by the Bruins. Right into no man's land. 53.5. These speeds just keep getting larger. The Bruins hang on to life. As Caleb Sinte will check out. Mahanrai Sanchez will check in. We're seeing his appearance for the first time today. Vikings getting everyone involved. As Sanchez fixes his knee pads. Now number 5 for the Bruins. Sends it over. Picked up by Jarvis. Hilliard sets it up. Brought down and in. Tyson Jarvis starts it and Tyson Jarvis ends it. The Vikings win the third and final set by a score of 25-20. Vikings win the first one 25-12, second one 25-21, and complete the sweep, winning the third set 25-20. That does it here in Valhalla for the first ever boys volleyball game. Pleasant Grove wins 25-20. What an atmosphere here, and what a game that we saw today.
Yeah, what an amazing game by Pleasant Grove and Mountain View. Both teams definitely put on a fight, but Pleasant Grove came out with the win.
Mountain View started out slow, and really, we talked about it a lot, but it was those miscommunications and that serving effort by Pleasant Grove that gave them that first set lead by a wide margin, over double Mountain View's points. But then the whole rest of the game, an extremely competitive game. Both of these teams have amazing seasons in front of them and bright, bright times in the future as we kicked off not only the Vikings season, not only the Bruins season, but the era of Utah high school men's volleyball tonight. We thank you for joining us here on PGSN. Vikings sweep with a final score of 3-0. Our next game here on PGSN will be a baseball game next week on Friday, March 15th, as the Vikings open up their season on opening day. They'll be here at the field at Pleasant Grove High School facing the Syracuse Titans. We will see you then for the last time tonight. I'm Alan Judson.
And I'm Zane Grothe.
And we thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you another time.